Okay, so I started this series because I live in a city with really, really old houses. And a lot of times when I'm going for a walk or through my years living here, I sometimes there's an energy that comes forward, sometimes it's a memory that I'll see, like I'm seeing somebody else's memories, and sometimes it's a spirit still connected to the house. Whether they're ready to move on or not, there's a lot to learn. So I started the series because I've had some experiences. So we are up to part 4, and I would like to continue and maybe post some more on here, but here's my first 3 or 4. I'm just minding my business, going about my day, and I'll like be parked next to a house or drive past a house, and it'll literally call me in and I'll like receive messages about it. So I wanted to start with this house. So I was literally driving home tonight, minding my business, and I literally, it's like my eyes when I was like stopped at a light next to it kept going towards it. And so I took this picture very quickly, something told me to, and then I started to receive messages about it. So I'm gonna go over what that was and then close my eyes and see if I can get anything else. There was a very distinct female energy, and then there was a male energy standing behind her. Like he wasn't necessarily stepping forward, but she wanted me to know that he existed. One of the first things I saw about this house was in its day, she said it was beautiful. It was like the talk of the town. She loved this house. OG when it was built. It's the only reason she liked her husband was because, and was with him because he built her this beautiful house, and she wanted to be, I kept hearing the like Bella the Ball saying something along those lines. However, the relationship was not necessarily pure or reciprocated. She's also very upset that it's become like split into, she shows me like a lot of people living there, like apartments or something, and that it's not very well taken care of. That very much upsets her. She also shows me that there was some like, she was very welcoming into the house, and she also was like accentuating her body. She was maybe a little bit promiscuous. She definitely took on quite a few lovers, one of them being somebody who worked with them. I see him like dressed very nicely, working kind of alongside the husband, something having to do with the estate, managing the estate, whatever that is. I'm not entirely sure what that would translate to in this environment. But she shows me like that she was wanted, and she wants others to know that she was wanted. I keep seeing this yellow book, this yellow like diary, some kind of yellow book that she's saying has been lost, and that this kind of maybe was her diary. I'm not sure if somebody, like, she's upset that it wasn't found because it had all of her truths in it, or whoever had it didn't appreciate what it was. Maybe like when the house was turned over, she keeps showing me this yellow book and saying like it was all in there. It was all in there. There was truths about things that she didn't get to say, possibly her affairs. It's like she wanted them to be known. Her husband also liked it when she was pregnant because she wasn't as promiscuous, so he kept getting her pregnant, which she also didn't enjoy. She didn't necessarily relate to the role of mother. She has a very interesting energy, very loud, wants her story to be told. I want to know more about this. I might make another video because I am kind of in a rush right now, but there's definitely more because she keeps showing me like a bird, a canary, a lot of yellow energies as well. There's a lot of yellow, which could be solar plexus, which is very confident, very loud, wants to be the talk of the town, the talk of the room. That's kind of what she's showing me. So she very much enjoys that I'm doing this right now. So I might do another one. Hi, it's Cairo, and welcome back to Psychically Tapping Into Houses. This was honestly the house that made me want to start this entire series, because every time I passed this house, the same energy came forward. We are starting with none other than this house. So honestly, not even the front of the house is where I get the messages. It's on the side, specifically, I don't know if you can see these 2 windows, the second one. There is always a little girl spirit. She manifests as a little girl, but sometimes spirits will manifest in the way that they felt most comfortable on earth, their favorite age, whatever they just feel like they want to represent as. And she represents as like a older, a little bit teenagery, but not full-grown woman. But I do believe she was a full-grown woman when she passed. Okay, so the thing about this person is that they had severe like OCD and superstition, because the first time that I ever saw her, she was hanging a little like rabbit's foot in her window, trying to ward off like negative energy. She felt very out of control in her own environment. And literally every time I would pass, for some reason, there's always a light there that I would get stopped at. And I think that was for a reason. She always felt like I would always start to feel really, really anxious and wonder where this is coming from. So she has like darker brown hair. She always had it up in like a very fancy, like half up, half down situation with like kind of curls. She reminds me of like early to mid like 1900s, definitely not of modern like modern era, modern day. But there was always, she kept showing me her specifically putting up the lucky rabbit's foot, as well as doing things a certain amount of time. She would do this thing kind of like this, maybe not like that, but like she was tapping things a certain amount of times, and kind of showed me that like even when spirits pass on, if they are superstitious, they carry whatever that belief is into their afterlife until they choose to let it go. So it was very clear to me that this soul needed to kind of let go the superstitious energy and a little bit of the fear in order to move on. And not that they needed my help to move on at all, but I did ask to connect and kind of asked, is there anything I can do for you? Do you know that you've moved on? And she goes in and out, but she said yes, and that she was working through things and showed me that this is just something that makes her feel comfortable. So whether she's not ready to let it go right now or didn't want my help, I don't know. But this is one of those things that was very, very specific. There was also a fall that she had had when she was younger, and she shows me her left leg, of feeling like because she didn't do the things that she did, she had severely hurt her leg. She did get, like, I see her walking and doing fine, so it wasn't even detrimental, but it stuck with her that she didn't do the things that she needed to do and the things a certain amount of times. And the rabbit's foot was to ward off like all of the accidents that she was happening, like little falls that she thought were her fault. So sending her love and light, and that is one of the houses that made me want to start this whole thing. Welcome back to Psychically Tapping into Houses Part 4 with this beautiful house. And me and this house have history. So I used to work right near this house, and the only parking that was ever available on the street or the 2 streets near this place was right in front of this house. Now, I have talked about this on my channel before because there is a woman spirit here that manifests always outside, never inside, and in between this house and the house on the right. She wears a black dress and she has an apron on, and she's always either outside on the front lawn, almost like near the street, like guarding, very protective of the house, or she is on the little deck that they have in front. And last night I was walking by, and I can't believe I forgot this house when doing this series. Last night I was walking by and it scared the crap out of me because it was very dark. They only have like a string of Christmas lights up above, so the deck is very backlit, or very like limly lit, and there is a lot of stuff, but a table right near the door where a red light is. And she was just sitting there staring at me. So I caught her for an instant. They only manifest for an instant, and then she was gone. Horrifying. If you've been following me for a while and you've heard me talk about this, this is the spirit that when I would pass, I don't know if it's the tattoos, the general vibe, just a change in time periods, I don't know, has called me, screamed the word hussy on multiple occasions. And when I walk by, I feel from her perspective like this thing of disgust. And I never really knew why, and I always just kind of laughed it off and was like, that's the weird part about being a medium, I don't know, and like walked past. She never necessarily wanted to connect, and I didn't want to push boundaries because I'm very protective of spirits' boundaries. So I have asked for her name in past occasions to try and just connect in a way, and she's never given it to me. The only interactions that I've ever had is seeing her for an instant and then hearing a very loud word screamed at me, whether it's hussy, but I have asked her name before, and last night I heard the name Gail screamed at me, and I heard it very loud in my mind's ear. So I'm assuming that's her name, I'm not sure, but almost in that instant when she opened up to kind of connect to me in that way, maybe she was feeling more open, I saw this light inside of her of what she enjoyed doing on earth. She was very much outside, connected to gardening, always, and I think that's why she's always on the front lawn, always near the street, very protective. It's like her garden is still there. I see her with her hands in the dirt, but seeing this yellow aura emanating from her, this joy, this golden light, like that's where she enjoyed to be most. She's also always in black, and I feel this like, I'm drawn to her heart chakra. I'm feeling like there's a lot of pain, so possibly in mourning, possibly having lost somebody, and the way that she feels still connected is through gardening. And I get the sense that she was judged in this life and feeling very like on the offs, which is possibly why she's a little judgy with me, or maybe possibly everybody that walks by, I don't know. Because I feel like it wasn't very ladylike to have your hands in the dirt, to get dirty, to do that work. There would be somebody that you could pay, or somebody whose role that should have been, but she would not let anybody touch this garden and her grass and things but her. So there's a very protective element, and I would love to connect with this soul more in the future if they are open. But it was just really beautiful to see a light and something about this soul that I have passed so many times and just gotten, you know, not the greatest interaction with, but that's just part of being a medium. So here we are with part 4 of Psychically Tapping into Houses.